It's very easy to forget something when you're packing for a race, as there's simply so much to remember, which could be pretty frustrating if you've travelled a long way to get there. So our tip is to make a checklist that you can tick off every time you pack. Here's what we put on it in order of importance. The first and most important thing to take with you is your British Cycling racing licence, because quite simply you won't be able to race without it. Make sure you sign it and there's a photo of good likeness on there, then put it somewhere nice and safe, like in your wallet. Now, the number 2 on our list of priority things to take to a race is your shoes. Now, unlike many other things that you may forget to take to a race, which can be swapped out, your shoes can't, because they're simply personal and unique to you in terms of size, fit, cleat and cleat position. So don't forget these. Now, your cycling helmet is very important, as British cycling regulations stipulate no one can race without wearing one of these. Now, just make sure you keep it in good condition and check it regularly for signs of wear and tear. That'll keep you safe and racing smart. Now, next up are our basic riding racing essentials. So by that I mean a pair of shorts, socks, a pair of track mitts, not two left or two right like I've done in the past, rather embarrassingly, and depending on the weather conditions, short sleeve road jersey, and maybe a long one as well if it's particularly cold. For extra clothing, there is a lot that you could actually take, so it's a really good idea to check the weather forecast before you go to your race. Then you can only take what you need and what is necessary. Now, first up, base layers. Got a couple here, so a lighter one for the spring and summer conditions or the warmer conditions, and a heavy one here if it's cold. And you can actually double up if needed. I've done that on a few occasions in the past. Arm warmers and leg warmers particularly if you're warming up. Now, if you've got particularly cold and wet conditions, you're going to need to take a rain cape. That will not only keep you dry, it'll keep the wind off as well and keep you warm. Sticking with the wet and rainy theme, next bit of kit that's ideal to have is a cycling cap. It won't only just keep your head warm, but what it'll do is stop the spray from getting in your eyes from the rider's wheels in front. Now, another bit of headgear to consider for the very cold conditions is this skull cap. This goes underneath your helmet. It'll not only keep you warm, but you can pull it right down over your ears as well to keep those nice and toasty. Now, another toasty bit of kit is a pair of long finger gloves. Obviously, depending on the weather conditions, you can get different thicknesses of those. Some more toasty stuff coming up are overshoes. Now, these are an essential bit of kit in bad conditions. They'll keep your feet dry, toasty and warm. And again, these come in different sorts of thicknesses. Another bit of kit that I always used to take to races is a gilet or a vest. These are wonderful for the early part of a race when you're warming up. They're very easy to remove and then to stow in your back pocket. So a gilet there. And finally, I wear shades or sunglasses. They not only look cool, although I'll let you be the judge of that, but primarily they will actually protect your eyes from grit, insects and such likes which are flicked off the road in front. If you've pre-entered your event, you'll most likely have received a race manual through the post. Now, this will contain all the details you need to know about the race, including the rider list, course details, and most importantly, where the race headquarters is. So don't forget to take that along with you. Now, once you arrive at the event and sign on, you'll receive your numbers, and most occasions you'll receive some pins. But quite a lot of the time, you might not get enough pins to do the job properly. So make sure you take a handful of pins in your kit bag as well. Now, most professionals worth their salt will always apply a little bit of sun cream in all weather conditions, because you've got to remember you're going to be out on the road for a very, very long time, and it might actually feel as warm as it is because of the wind chill effect of riding out on the road. So make sure you pack some of that just in case. Now, not everybody actually uses chamois cream, but if you're one of the few riders who does out training, then you've got to make sure you take some of this and use it in the race as well, because otherwise you could be in for a rather uncomfortable ride. Now, finally on our list, we have head units. This one is a Garmin. Of course, there's other varieties available out there, and these are great for finding out exactly where you are on the course, and more importantly, how far to go, as well as capturing important data for training purposes that you might want to look back on. You're also going to need to take some bottles with you. Now, the exact amount of bottles is of course going to depend on the weather conditions and the distance of your race, but as a minimum we'd recommend taking 2, but that will of course depend on if you've got anybody to help hand bottles up from the side of the road. Now, to put inside your bottles, we'd recommend that you take an energy product that you're used to and have trained with in the past, and the same will go for any bars or any gels that you use. Now, to get you through an hour-long criterium, we'd recommend 1 bar or 1 gel, or for a longer race of say up to 100 miles, you might need 3, 4 or even more. Well, that's everything you need for the race, but what about following the race? Now, some race organisers will provide shower facilities, so in those cases, make sure you take along a towel and of course your wash bag. But if there's no showers, you can take along a flannel and some body wash, and at least that will get you home in relative comfort. Now, if the race has been particularly cold and wet, you're going to need to get into some clothing that's warm as soon as possible. So it's really worth taking along a spare, thick, warm base layer and a warm jacket. Well, some warm, thick tights are also great post-race, especially if you're making a visit to the podium. Now, one thing that is good to take as well is a bin liner to put all your dirty and wet kit in, so it doesn't contaminate the rest of your kit bag. So minus your bike, you should have everything that you need in a very full kit bag. And if you follow this checklist, you shouldn't leave anything behind.
Go to the British Cycling website to find out more about racing. Look at Get Into Racing, categories, membership. If you like what you see and feel that you're ready, then you'll need to become a British Cycling Gold or Silver member and take out a race licence.